We are going to create a birthday card in this video. This is the second watercolor painting in birthday series. Now let us start the painting process. I stick the masking tape as shown in the video and I start to wet the paper as we are going to use wet on wet technique. After wetting the paper, I'm tilting the board to 30-degree angle by placing a masking tape under the board. I mixed lemon yellow with little amount of orange to paint the background. For the background, we are going to use gradient wash, that is, the saturation of the color decreases from top to bottom. After applying lemon yellow color which is mixed with orange, I dip the brush in water and remove some amount of pigment from the brush and I go over on the paper. I repeat this process until I reach down the paper, and after that I remove all the pigment which is collected near the tape. Next we are going to paint the Misty mountain while the paper is still wet. Here is the sample how we are going to paint the Misty mountain. While painting the Misty mountain, we should be careful about the amount of water in the brush. I'm just painting the background for the sample. Next, I'm going to paint the Misty mountain. You can look at the consistency of the watercolor pigment in the palette. Now apply the pigment on the wet paper as shown in the video. Here is another example to show what happens when there is more water in the pigment. Again, I'm painting the background for the mountain. The background is still wet. Now the pigment has more water in it, so the water in the brush push the pigment which is applied in the background. This gives an unintended result which is not quite suitable for our Misty mountain. So be careful about the amount of water in the pigment and in the brush. The paper is still wet. Now I'm adding the Misty mountain. Next, I'm adding more pigment to the brush. I haven't dipped the brush in the water or added any amount of water to the pigment. The water content in the brush is enough to pick up the pigment from the palette, and I'm applying it on the wet paper for the second row of Misty mountain. Next, I'm adding a third row of Misty mountain. This one is nearer to the viewer, so I add some details of pine trees to this Misty mountain. Now tilt the board and collect all the excess pigment near the tape and wipe it using a waistcloth. Now allow the paper to dry completely. I allow the paper to dry completely. Now I'm painting the pine trees using the pigment indigo, which is in thick consistency. That is, I added only less amount of water to the pigment. To paint the misty mountains and to paint the pine trees, I used indigo color. We reached end of this video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you in another video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.